Hey Waffle Gang, I do hope you are well. My name is Mark and today we're checking out some more Reddit stories, and if you do love a Reddit story, why not consider hitting that like, subscribe, maybe that notification bell too, and let's crack on with today's first story. Much love guys. Now today's first story comes from Lurk and Throwaway 85 and says, my 38 female sister, 34 female, made up a dead brother to her spouse, 35 male, and in-laws, 60s male and female. I accidentally outed the lie, but why am I the bad guy here? Usually a lurker, but something happened tonight that has made me incredibly confused. Apologies in advance for the length. Backstory, I'm the eldest of 4 sisters. We stair-stepped 2 years apart. I'm Meg, 38, Joe is 36, Beth is 34, and Amy is 32. Our parents used to joke about how they kept trying for a boy, but finally gave up after girl number 4. Not gonna lie, it hurt our feelings a little, especially Amy, but they stopped that and assured us they wouldn't change anything. Every one of us had at least one daughter. I'm the only sister that has a son. At 17, he's the eldest grandchild, and I'm fairly certain he's my dad's favorite person in the world. They're best friends. It's adorable. Okay. Now that you have the backstory / fam history, let's talk about tonight. My son, who is very intelligent and absolutely crushed high school, recently received his acceptance letter to a pretty prestigious university. Full ride. We're incredibly proud. My folks wanted to throw him a little congratulatory party, and tonight worked for all of our schedules, which is no small feat. 4 different families with 11 kids between them. So we all headed to the folks' house for pizza and cake. At one point, Amy brought up that it is Sibling Appreciation Day. Mum said she wanted all of her girls to say what we appreciate about our sisters, and we go youngest to eldest, with most of the compliments going to me, as I was kind of a second mum to them. I told each of my sisters how much I loved them, among other things, and then finished my speech off saying something like, and I really appreciate that we didn't have any gross boys stinking up our house. All of us but Beth and her husband laughed. Beth's eyes got really big and her husband, Chase, looked at me like I was something he scraped off the bottom of his shoe. Suddenly he says, that's pretty fucked up. I said something like, I don't know Chase, I've smelled you after your workouts, it's pretty bad. And he got even more mad and said, how could you talk about Tyler like that? And Beth starts losing her mind guys. She's grabbing him by the arm and begging him to hush, saying they need to go home now, etc. So naturally I'm like, who is Tyler? Well friends, apparently Tyler is Beth's twin that died during childbirth, and it made our folks and me so depressed that nobody's allowed to speak of him or reference him, ever. Beth forbade him from ever mentioning to any family member. After Chase told us this, nobody said a word. It was so damn tense. Finally, I just kind of bluntly said, I'm not sure why, but Beth lied to you about this. I think you guys should talk about it, but I don't want to hear anything else about this tonight, as we're here to celebrate my son. After that, Beth burst into tears and ran into her old bedroom, with Chase, Mum and Joe following her. The party never fully recovered, and they took off pretty shortly after that. I stayed behind to help clean, and so my dad and son could hang some more. While I'm doing the dishes, my mum scolded me pretty harshly about calling Beth a liar. If the shoe fits, mother. My dad said I wasn't wrong, but I embarrassed Beth. What the hell was I supposed to do? I was getting chastised over a lie. Absolutely not. Beth also texted me that I fucked her over, and a text from Chase's phone told me I was the actual liar sister, and everyone knows that. Amy is on my side, but she and Beth always butted heads. Joe claims she's neutral, but she also told me I didn't have to call her out like that. What the hell was I supposed to do? Just take the lashing? And why is everyone acting like me calling out what I consider to be a pretty heavy lie is worse than the lie itself? How do we resolve this situation? I love my sisters so damn much. They're my best friends, but this is so weird and so wrong to put on me. I mean, straight up, I think you handled it pretty well as someone could in that kind of moment. I mean, everyone would have been blindsided by this. What were you supposed to sort of do? Pretend that you suddenly remembered your dead brother? Just ignore it? Play along? What was you meant to do in that? But it certainly suggests that Beth might be dealing with something right now because, it's a pretty concerning lie, isn't it? Is it something to do with the parents making those jokes? But yeah, instead of everyone piling on you, they need to address this directly rather than making you the scapegoat of the situation. The commenter says, I can't imagine any other response. I really can't. Were you seriously expected to lie along with her? I think that is shocking. Opie says I have no idea what she was expecting. I have lied for her before, but saying she's at my house while she's really getting boudoir photos done for him is not the same as lying about a whole person who never existed. It's beyond bizarre. Another commenter says I'm kind of impressed that after all of that she managed to convince her husband that you were the liar. Of course, if he still believes her, he's dumb as a brick. I think there is proof enough on her birth certificate as it will state she was a single birth. Opie says I will say Chase is not a dummy, and he's typically not malicious. And although nobody really backed me up about this being a lie, at least not in front of me, I think it's pretty obvious that I was telling the truth, as everyone else was obviously confused and dead silent in the moment. I have not responded to the text as I'm not looking to burn bridges. I've made many mistakes and my sisters have graciously forgiven me. I'm just flummoxed and a little hurt. Another commenter says, this is very weird. I'm confused as why your parents aren't embarrassed by your sister's behavior, especially trying to keep up the lie afterwards and saying you're lying. Is she mentally okay? Does she have a history of lying? Opie says, we all lied as kids, but I assume she grew out of it as an adult. We also all exhibited some attention-seeking behavior, but again, age-appropriate, especially for a family with 4 kids and 2 parents who worked full-time. My parents are hippie and very much live and let live kind of vibe, but this feels icky to me. So I'm a little surprised they're not more upset about it. Then again, they never punished us in front of each other, so they could be dealing with it or planning to deal with the situation behind the scenes. Either way, Beth is way too old to be making up dead sibling stories. Another commenter says your sister dug herself into a weird hole. Is now mad she has to dig her way out of it and is placing that anger on you for accidentally handing her the shovel. If she wants to blame anyone for being caught in a lie, she can look in the mirror. How do you fix it? Your sister has to pull her head out of her ass and apologize for putting you all in that position, and then you can think about apologizing for being blunt about it. But to be honest, I don't feel you did anything wrong exactly here. You had no idea what was going on, why you were being accused of being a bad person, and literally just wanted to focus back on your son's achievements. It's not like you accidentally spilled a secret you were supposed to keep. Your sister created this entire mess, and she'll probably explain to you guys why she did it. Opie replied to that one saying, I appreciate your input and kind words. I don't like drama, so I find it's best to just kind of stop it in its tracks. And my son, who recently got an autism diagnosis and was formerly referred to as Asperger's, and has messed with his head a little. He's always been so bad socially and really struggled making friends. As a result, his cousins got the bulk of the attention. He was really proud of himself, and I wanted him to remember this little get-together because it was all about him for once. Commenter says, your sister is a freak weirdo. Making up a dead twin for what? Sympathy? Attention? She fucked up and everyone knows it. Why would anyone want to cover up her lie is beyond me. She made her bed, let her deal with the repercussions of this outrageous lie. Question though, did or have your parents tried to set the record straight with her idiot hubby, or are they silent about this alleged twin baby that never existed? Opie says, when I told Chase she was lying, nobody backed me up, but I believe it was kind of obvious because nobody refuted my claims. That coupled with Beth frantically trying to get her husband to leave. Chase is smart, he can put 2 and 2 together. I mentioned in another comment that our parents never punished us, nor really got onto us, in front of each other. So I would like to think they're handling things on that end behind the scenes and trying to appeal to my dislike of drama and empathy to get me to forgive her. I don't find the lie unforgivable. I think it's bizarre and I don't appreciate it, but I don't think our relationship is over. I love her. I took her on her first date. Took her and a boy to get ice cream and they held hands. We lied to our parents about that one. I helped take care of her when she was postpartum because Chase had to work. She's got my heart, you know. Commenter replies to that saying, just to be clear, you do recognize this level of lie as a mental health disorder, correct? While I'm not a therapist, this very much sounds like some strain of Munchausen's. Again, not a therapist, just therapy adjacent in training and work, so I have some familiarity. So get some professional help. This isn't just a cry for help. This is a sign of a broken brain that requires professional help and maybe even medical interventions. Opie says, I work in healthcare, albeit not directly in mental health field, but I'm familiar with various disorders. I actually do think she's a hypochondriac. One of my nieces is always coming down with something. They're not. Or my sister definitely has Crohn's disease. She doesn't. She won't drink milk if it's within 3 days of best by date. Refuses bread pudding because you use old bread to make them. Won't eat brownies I bake from scratch the day before because they're old. So I know she's got some issues, but hey, we all have issues. I'm pretty emotionally closed off except to my spouse and children. Some people think that makes me a B. I try not to be too judgmental because I'm definitely not perfect, but I'm judging the fuck out of this. So at some point later, OP updated the post and says, okay, I think we have some answers regarding the events that occurred last night. I do want to tell everyone who took time to give advice or kind words. Thank you. I honestly couldn't read everything. I was and am exhausted, but I did get an idea of how I wanted to approach everything. Thanks to the advice given. My post says it was removed, and I'm unsure why, so hopefully this one will stay. I'll get to the update in a few. I just wanted to answer some FHQ comments real quick. 1. This is fake. I wish it was. I really wish my mind worked in a way where I could make things up like this. Alas, my imagination is lacking. 2. Your parents named you after a little woman. This is probably partially to blame for the fake comments. These are just placeholder names I used, as there are 4 sisters in that novel. My parents are hippies and gave us some pretty noticeable names. If I used our real ones, on the off chance any of our friends read this, they'd know immediately this was our family. 3. Beth is continuing to lie and Chase is believing it, and your mum and Joe threw you under the bus too. Regarding Chase, I think he knew I was being truthful. Also, I said the text came from his phone. I was actually thinking Beth sent it, as that's not Chase's vibe. About Mum and Joe, it didn't throw me under the bus, but I'll go into more details soon. 4. Is it possible my mum had twins and I just forgot or didn't know about the death? Absolutely not. I was at all of my sister's births. I don't remember Joe's, but I do remember Beth and Amy's, and there were no multiples, no deaths, no funerals, no depression. 5. The birth certificate will prove it. It sure would, yes, but I'm not about to try and strong-arm my sister into showing her husband her birth certificate. 6. Your sister is mentally ill, also the golden child, and you're the scapegoat. I'm not about to say my sister is sick, but I do think she has some issues, as we all do. There's no golden child and scapegoat in this family. My parents were and are really good about treating all of us fairly and equally. 7. You could have / should have been more tactful / pulled her aside / not called her a liar. Had I known that Tyler was my dead brother, I never would have asked who he was. Chase and I tease each other a lot, and I honestly thought he was about to come to me with some kind of funny joke, like these nuts. Regarding my lack of tact, I don't know. I think it's pretty lacking in tact to make up a whole dead sibling. And really, facts are facts. She lied and that's that. The night was about my son, so I squashed the issue and chose to move forward, hoping to end the conversation with as little drama as possible. Okay, so now to the update. After a night of barely sleeping and my blood pressure dangerously high, I called my mum this morning fully ready to let out an emotionally charged tirade about how I feel they unfairly threw me under the bus and took Beth's side when she objectively did the worst thing. My mum answered the phone apologizing and asked me to just listen. When she and Joe followed Beth and Chase to Beth's room, Mum did tell Chase that Tyler was not real and that this is an issue between her and Chase, and they should probably leave because she didn't want everything ruined. She did get on to me, but it was mostly only out of sympathy and empathy for Beth, and she recognized it wasn't okay. She apologized for that. She spoke with Chase this morning, and Beth, who is the one who sent me the text from Chase's phone, finally came clean this morning after hours of denying the lie. Something I didn't mention as I didn't feel was pertinent to the story is Beth's eldest daughter, Madison, isn't Chase's biological daughter. She's been around since Madison was 2. Also kind of pertinent is that Chase is a first responder. He loves to be a hero, and he's very good in that role. He met Beth doing victims advocacy. and as such, I believe they both view him as saving Beth. This has been long speculated, but it's not exactly our place to say anything. And we all love Chase. He's an amazing person. And Beth is no dummy. She picked up on Chase's hero complex immediately. It appears that, in an effort to make herself look more sympathetic, vulnerable, or broken, she lied about having a twin brother that died in childbirth. I guess being in an abusive relationship and having a small child just wasn't enough. She did not have to do that. They've been together 10 years now, and not once did she come clean. To me, that proves a clear pattern of deceit and manipulation. However, I'm not going to speculate on her mental health problems or reasonings for not coming clean. That is for her and her husband to deal with. Neither one of them have called or texted me to apologize, and I'm honestly unsure if they will. Beth is more of the rug-sweeping type, while I'm a confront issues head-on type. I will not be cutting my sister off for this though. I love her, and at the end of the day, I just want her to be happy and healthy. I do hope this whole issue will cause her to rethink some of her life choices, and maybe she can get some therapy. I think we could all use therapy, to be honest. That's where we are right now. My mum did not offer any information on how Beth and Chase are doing, and I did not ask. It's not my business. I have not heard from Joe, but Amy and I have been texting all morning, and she is being my best good friend right now and providing a lot of support. Hopefully we can all move forward and grow together in the future. Thanks again for the support you have all sent my way. The top comments on that update says, I'm glad your mother apologized, but your sister really owes you and the entire family an apology. This was a really selfish and weird thing to do. She also owes Chase and his family an apology. I hope she gets some help for this. Good luck. Another commenter says your sister could probably benefit from therapy. I'll never understand why people think it's a good idea to lie about something so easily disproven. Don't lie about anything and you won't have situations blow up like this. Hope she comes to her senses and apologizes to you. Commenter says, I think your family needs to do a sit down with your sister because this isn't normal behavior at all. She lied for 10 years about a dead brother. You'll need to call this behavior out since she's way too old to be acting like this, and doing nothing is showing her that you guys will accept similar or the same type of behavior in the future. Another commenter says, well, this is why she continues to do this nonsense at her big ass age. No one holds her accountable. You can't move forward and grow together if people don't take accountability. Your entire family enables her in the worst way. Yeah, I kind of felt that enabling comment at the very end of that one. 10 years that's been going on for. I wonder how many times that's been brought up in the background, between Chase and her. If it has at all, of course, but using that to seem more, air quotes, broken for her husband with a hero complex, the manipulation with that is wild. And I was just left thinking after that, is there going to be more lies in the background? Obviously, we'll probably never find out, but it just made me think, if you're willing to go that far with a lie like that, what else? But what do you guys make of this situation? Let us know your thoughts down in the comments below, and let's move on to another story. Now, our next story comes from Few Impressions 6465, and it says, am I the arsehole for telling my dad he has to decide between me attending his wedding and accepting I won't take part in the family unity ceremony, or accept I won't be there? And just jumping in straight away, because I'm going to make myself sound really ignorant here, but I've never heard of a family unity ceremony, so I just did a quick Google if anyone's in the same situation as me, which I know you're probably not, but a family unity ceremony is a symbolic ritual often included in a wedding or other celebratory event that emphasizes the coming together of families into a new unified unit. It can be a powerful way to mark the formation of a blended family, or to simply highlight the interconnectedness of all those involved. The story starts, my dad's engaged to his partner of 2-ish years. They moved in together last month and their wedding is in December. I 17 male and my dad's only bio kid. His almost wife has 3 kids of her own. The kids are younger, like under 10. Maybe they're even all under 8, I'm not that sure. They decided they wanted to do a family unity ceremony and have it be about becoming one family instead of the 2 of them being a married couple. His future stepkids are excited by the idea and want to take part. I don't and won't take part. I already explained to him that I'm not interested and can't be talked into it. He asked me why and pushed for me to reconsider. He told his wife and she's freaking out because her kids have this idea that they get a big brother out of this marriage. And my dad told her and the kids we'd be real siblings once the 2 of them are married. All of this despite the fact I really don't know her or her kids. I've really only spent any real time with the kids twice, and it was more me trying not to be a dick than me wanting to spend time or get to know them. I think that's obvious because I don't know their actual ages. Some background to explain, some relationship dynamics because I'm sure there are questions. My dad raised me alone. My mum took off when I was less than a year old. I don't remember her. I don't remember her being around. Her family wasn't around or in my life either. I didn't have a lot of family besides my dad growing up, except for one of his siblings. And for most of my life, Dad was a good dad. But when I was maybe 11, he started preparing me for the fact that he wanted his own life and travel the world when I turned 18, and I'd be on my own. He talked about how I should not expect to see him very often and to expect we might not see each other for years sometimes, and how he doesn't want to be tied down until he dies. That he would call or answer calls when he wasn't busy with life. He said some stuff that made me believe he resented the fact that he raised me alone and had to change his life for me. He never actually let up on that. He talked about it so much that we started to fight, and I told him I got it, and he was done being a dad at 18, and he told me I was being dramatic. I argued that he told me I could go 5 or maybe even more years without seeing him, and he didn't want to be tied down. That he might even ignore calls so he could live life. I told him that sounded like he wanted to stop being a dad. He told me I focused on the wrong parts. When we argued about it other times, he said he wanted the life he missed out on, and he wasn't waiting around for me to be ready. That I'd land on my feet eventually, and I wouldn't be his kid anymore, I'd be his peer. Which he then said I picked up wrong. But basically for years, I've been prepared to leave at 18 and not have my dad in it. Then he met his almost wife, and all that talk about traveling the world was gone. He started to become a dad to her kids. He was spending time with them and building a life with them. Eventually he tried to include me, but that was only really in the last 4 or 5 months. But I've ignored it. I did babysit twice for them. Once when his almost wife was rushed to hospital, and the second time when his almost wife had a follow-up surgery for health issues she has. My dad has tried to argue that our family is growing and I should be trying harder to be included in it. I told him that won't happen. And if he wants whatever half-assed relationship he planned to have with me before, then he needs to accept that. That I'll come to his wedding if he wants me there, as long as he accepts I won't be a part of that ceremony. And if he can't accept it, then I won't go. And he'll need to accept that. His almost wife heard us talk it out, and she said I'm not taking the 11 good years into it, and I'm punishing her children for my dad not being perfect, and that it isn't fair to them. She told me a good person would be glad Dad decided to stick around and love the new people, especially the kids, and want better for them. Am I the arsehole? And for full disclosure, I have about a month to go until I'm 18, and my plan is to move out that day. A commenter who was downvoted says, this is a tough situation. I mean, not the arsehole for feeling how you feel towards your dad. That's the hurt being prepped to be solo at 18 for so long, and then he changes his mind for her. However, it sounds like your problem is with your dad, and you've not really gotten a chance to know her or her kids. I wouldn't immediately throw away the chance to build a strong family unit. If anything, I'll tell him no, unless you two do some family therapy to see if you can overcome this. Opie says, I don't want a family unit with them. I accepted before they came along that I'll be on my own, and there's nothing Dad can say or do now to change the fact that he has stayed for them but not me. Even therapy won't make me want to work on overcoming this. I have friends who are more like family to me than he is now. Commenter says not the arsehole here. Your dad set the parameters of your relationship when you were still young and drummed them into your head. Now that his priorities have changed, he acts surprised that you're not interested in a different relationship. Go live your life. Opie says, he must have expected me to be the same upset 11-year-old who first found out what his dad had planned. But I knew he was serious, so I thought about and planned for when that time comes. 11-year-old me was so sad and worried. I felt like nobody wanted me. My mum hadn't wanted me and left, and my dad was basically saying he regretted sticking around to raise me and would leave once he wouldn't get in trouble for it. I had no idea what I was going to do. Commenter says, if those are the only resolutions you're willing to accept, then that would make you the arsehole here. You're essentially just saying you have no interest in being family, and that will 100% cause an everlasting crack in your family, even if you ever decide to be a part of the family again. However, you're 100% justified in how you feel, also how your father's words and actions made you feel. There is no denying how shitty that is. However, his intentions might also include the fact that he could die tomorrow and you'd be left alone. It makes me think that his words and actions wanted to also prepare you to be able to survive on your own, since you don't really have any other close family to rely on. To me, the circumstances have changed a lot, and it really sounds like both his soon-to-be wife and your father want you to be a part of their family unit, at least for now. If you're adamant that you never want anything to do with this new part of his family, or your father, then go along with the ultimatums you've set for yourself, because this is the path you're setting up for yourself. Opie says that's exactly what I'm saying. I have no interest in making these people my family. I have no interest in clinging to a man who is ready to discard me and is only changing his plans for new people, who only try to include me later on. It's not like he worked to make up for the things he said and plans he made for all those years. And he knew I was working to save so I could move out at 18. He knew I was saving to have a life when he wasn't there. At no point did he say he was sorry. He only ever argued that I saw the worst of what he was saying. But every time he tried to make a new point, he made it worse. And I've worked my ass off to be ready for him to leave, and it got to a point where I knew that was better, because why pretend to see the best in a person who resents me for something I couldn't control, like being born? Someone says, can you make a deal like you'll do it if he'll pay for college? Opie says I'm not going to college, but no, I wouldn't do it to get his money or for him to pay for something. Opie on saving money for when he moves out. Opie says I've been saving for years now. I've enough to follow through on the plans I made, and then I will work hard when I move to keep my head above water. On OP's plans when he's out the house, OP says me and one other friend will be temp renting a place until after graduation, and that other friends can settle. Then we're moving and getting a place together. We've talked about it a lot and stuff has started to been set in motion already. Only one needs it like I do, but the others are all on board because to them it's us sticking together and them helping the two of us. But they're really excited and we'll all be roommates too. Is OP planning to locate his biological mother? OP says no. I don't want to put myself through more rejection. If she were to come looking for me, then maybe I'd be open to contact, but I can't chase after another parent. So at some point later, OP updated their post and says I debated posting my update and still might chicken out, but I'll write it out and see whether I post it or not. I know people wanted an update and I was asked to talk more about what my plans are. I shared some details in my original post, but things have changed because I moved out. Technically, kicked out. On the day I made my post, I had plans to sleep at a friend's house. Once I got there, my dad sent a text saying his partner was rushed to the hospital again and he needed me to babysit again. I told him no once and that was it. A few hours later, my dad asked where the hell I was and why I had said no when this was an emergency. He sent multiple texts, but when he realized I really wouldn't babysit and had stayed wherever the hell I was, he went off on me and he told me if I won't babysit and be there for the family, then I better stay gone. He texted me the next morning, yesterday technically, and said I was not living under his roof after that stunt and to stay the fuck gone. I knew he meant it, so when everyone was out, I went to the house and grabbed everything I'd prepared to leave when following my plan exactly. That included all the important documents I had, clothes and anything I bought or that was given to me by people who aren't my dad. It was basically all ready to go anyway, and I got in and out without a fight. My friend's parents are letting me stay until I can follow through with my original plan, which was to get somewhere with a friend locally until we all graduate, and then some friends and I will be moving state. We've been working together on this for a long time now. Honestly, I've been working my ass off to save money, to be able to leave regardless of whether I'd help from friends, but having them definitely helps. My dad sent more texts since I grabbed all my stuff. He tried to guilt and shame me and talk about how much the kids needed me and I wasn't there, but he also let out way more of his resentment towards me and it confirmed what I already knew about him. He doesn't regret the way he treated me since I was 11. He meant every word he said and that he expected me to pay him back for raising me, but I won't. I'm not staying to be treated like shit. He still wants me out of his house and he reminded me that I was not welcome back, that he better not come home to find me there ever again. So that's my update. It's been a crazy day / couple of days and I got so many comments on my post. Way more than I expected. I know a few people tried to convince me that he really did love me and didn't resent me and was trying to make it up to me. But after all this, I'm more convinced he resents me and trying to include me lately was an act to make me someone who could do stuff for him. I don't believe I ever had the dad I originally thought I had, because I don't think an actual good and loving dad would shut it all off one day for no good reason. Things have changed a little, but I keep working towards my plan. I'll also make sure I make it up to my friend's parents because I know this was unexpected for them, and I'm grateful they let me stay. OP on if he has any other family members or if he knows his mother's side. OP says no, and I never knew anything about them. I never met or knew any family except for one of Dad's siblings, and I don't have a relationship with them anymore. Commenter says, not the arsehole here. You need a lawyer. You're still 17, so he owes you child support. You have all the evidence to go to the police if necessary. Talk to your friend's parents and ask them. Your dad must pay if he wants or not. OP says, I'm not going to fight for child support. I know it would screw him, but I just want to get away from him, and being locked in some court battle with him would just be stress I don't need when I need to focus on more important things. Commenter says his new family are in for one hell of a shock when his latest facade drops and they realize who they are stuck with. You've handled all of this with maturity beyond your years. Have a brilliant life. OP on his father's wedding says, after everything that's happened now, I won't be attending, like at all. There's no once a year or once a decade relationship going to happen anymore. I won't offer back what he offered me. And the last commenter says, so glad you got everything out. Regarding your mom, you only have his version. Your mom may not have abandoned you like your dad told you. Your dad is abusive, and let's get this straight. You don't owe him a damn thing for being raised. Keep all the text messages in case you need them. Get through school and then please attempt to find some of your mum's relatives and make sure she is here. Your dad showed his true colors. Don't ever fall for a nice act from him. Never go over there or be alone with him. I'd believe nothing he said. I think he is possibly lying about your mum. Opie says, I'll be honest. I don't want to do a search like that anytime soon, if ever. I've had enough shit to deal with, and there's still a chance they are both shitty humans who didn't want me. When OP left that comment about being told at 11 years old that what his plans were about him going solo and, you know, he might not answer your calls or what the fuck? It really didn't feel to me like one of the commenters was saying that maybe he was just trying to prepare you to survive on your own. It just felt like an arsehole who was going to abandon you at 18 and that was that. And I'm so glad that OP did already have a plan in place. It's incredibly sad that they had to have that plan in place in the first place, but I'm glad they did because, you know, clearly Dad thought he always had some sort of power over him, especially with the household, that he could just throw him out at any point, which he did. But OP was prepared for that, and, you know, good on him. And I hope OP's gone on to live a stress-free and happier life away from that kind of shit, because gee whiz, I never quite get the families that we've read about in the past, like when your child turns 18, you know, fuck off out the house kind of thing. What the hell's that about? Not turning around and telling your 11-year-old child, I never got to live my life, so, you know, when you're 18, I'm out of here. I'm not going to talk to you no more because I haven't lived my life. What an arsehole. But anyway, what do you guys... I'm boiling. What do you guys make of this one? Let us know your thoughts down in the comments below. Now, just a huge thank you for being here today. Get involved in the stories, your love, your support, your time. It always means the absolute world to me. So thank you so much. And hopefully, I'll see you in the next one. Take care and much love.